أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد هلما والمهدينا وسلم تسليما كثيرا. There is no power nor strength except through Allah, and all praise is due to Allah for His blessings and for His trials and tribulations. Brothers and sisters, we gather here tonight in mourning the master of martyrs, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And we gather here tonight to remember the incident which took place on last Friday, the 16th of November 2012. The Egyptian National Security raided the private residence of the Ansar of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam in Egypt. Even though no charges were pressed against this peaceful group, the Egyptian media began to lie and call us terrorists and extremists and said we were responsible for the killing of the border guards on the Egyptian border of Rafah. And we had links to Al-Qaeda, is what they wrote about us, and that we planned the assassination of the Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi. We are a peaceful group who do not care about politics, nor have we had anything ever to do with politics. We have never carried any weapons, nor have we ever plotted any crime. We never did anything here except study together, eat together, talk together, and make YouTube videos. Be open and broadcast to anybody who is curious about what we were doing, what we believe in, and what we are saying. We never posed a threat to anyone, yet we were attacked simply because of our beliefs. Our belief in the prophets Elijah and Ezekiel and Solomon and David and Jeremiah. We were attacked because of our belief in the prophet Jesus and the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of the disciples of Jesus. His words of wisdom and comfort and peace. Our belief in Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi and Ali alayhi salam and the successors all the way down to Imam Ahmad al-Hassan alayhi salam. The Egyptian media and police just want to eliminate us. And we say to them, don't scare the poor Ansar with your media lies and fabrications and badges and vehicles or anything. In Egypt, there is no tolerance of freedoms of faith, as we have learned, and belief and expression. In Egypt, it is known that the police strike you and bust you upside your head and then accuse you of attacking them. Every case of police brutality against a religious minority follows the same pattern. Every case of Egyptian media lies against a religious minority follows the same pattern. They attack you, they bust you all up upside your mouth, and then they take you to court and charge you with terrorism and assault. What kind of democracy is that? What kind of freedom is that? What kind of social or political system is that when a religious minority has no voice in court or in the press? He has nothing on his side other than what the lying media gives him. My brothers and sisters, we have to put a stop to this. Because it will never stop until we stop it ourselves. And this is why we're speaking out tonight. They attack the victim, then the criminal who attacks the victim accuses the victim of attacking him. This is Egyptian justice. This is Egyptian democracy. And for those of you who are familiar with it, you know that Egyptian democracy is hypocrisy. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. But if you can't prove that this democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me. And how much more hypocrisy is it that Egyptians are allowed to fly to Germany and America and Britain and Trinidad and Spain and France and Sweden and Pakistan and all over the world and set up Sunni and Salafi and Wahhabi mosques and centers and spread their beliefs on the street freely. But when a group of Germans and Americans and British and Trinidadians and Spaniards and French and Swedish and Pakistanis decide to meet in a private residence here in Egypt and worship without spreading anything on the street, they get raided. I've said it and I say it again. If you want us out of your country, Egypt, then get your Egyptians out of ours. Get your Egyptians out of America. Get your Egyptians out of Germany. Get your Egyptians out of France and Spain and Trinidad and Sweden and Pakistan and Algeria and Tunisia and Serbia and every other country where Egyptians have been left to worship freely and establish mosques. Give those Sunni mosques there to us. Give those Sunni mosques there to us. If you don't want us here, we'll fly back there. Give those mosques to us that belong to the Egyptians over there. And we will worship as foreign Muslims in our own lands the way that we see fit, under the leadership of the Imam of the time, Ahmed al-Hassan alayhi salam, without fear of someone coming in to attack us or the media lying to slander us. And your Egyptians can go home or can come home and worship here with you. This is your country, fine. But that is our country. And if we can't be here, then by God, they shouldn't be allowed to be there. If the so-called Shia in Egypt were truly Egyptian citizens, we wouldn't have a sectarian problem. If the Egyptian constitution was authentic, we wouldn't have a sectarian problem. If the Egyptian journalists and media were authentic, we would not have a sectarian problem. If the new and free Egypt was authentic, we would not have a sectarian problem. But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy. These Wahhabi leaders are running around telling the Egyptian media that everything is all right, that they got everything under control, that everything Ahmed al-Hassan teaches is false. But I'm telling you, Ahmed al-Hassan said these things would come to pass, and now these things are coming to pass. Now these same Salafi leaders are running around here talking about there's about to be a sectarian explosion. Yes, there is going to be a sectarian explosion. And a sectarian explosion is more dangerous than an atomic explosion, because religious minorities are dissatisfied. They're dissatisfied not only with the Egyptian media, but with these Uncle Tom Salafi leaders running around trying to pose as spokespeople for you and I. Just like you have a powder keg. When you have a powder keg and there's too many sparks around it, the thing's going to explode. And if the thing that's going to explode is sitting inside of the house, then the house is going to be destroyed. I said the house is going to be destroyed. So the only thing reasonable to you and I, and what I'm trying to tell these Salafis and Wahhabis and the unjust media in Egypt is fine. Get this powder keg out of your house. Let the Shia people and other minorities separate from the house. Let the foreign Shia have their own house. Let the Shia go back to their own land, go back to their own property, back in their own countries. Give us back those mosques that you built in our countries, and we will leave you. I'm trying to tell the Salafi and Wahhabi that this thing, this explosion, is going to bring down this house. This is what I'm trying to tell him, and more importantly, I'm trying to tell him that if he doesn't do something about it, it's going to explode any day now. I'm just here to tell you, I'm going to make it very short. I'm going to tell you about the greatest solution. The greatest solution is the only solution for peace in this country. The solution is the only solution for you and I, and it's the solution and the only solution for the Salafi and the Wahhabis and the media here. Either allow us to worship freely in this country, or complete separation between the country of Egypt and all of our countries. It's the only solution, and we don't want to see this complete separation, and neither do you. But we want our freedoms in this country, as you were given freedoms in our country. And you were given more than enough freedoms in our countries. The Egyptian Shia here want their freedoms to believe and practice their beliefs without fear. We want the whole world to know that we are not terrorists. We are peaceful people from different parts of the world who share a common creed and faith. We want the whole world to know how we were raided for nothing, and how the Egyptian media called us terrorists and murderers and killers. We want the whole world to know that we are in danger here from the threats of these Salafis and Wahhabis, and we will never shut up or go away even if they kill us. And if they kill us, and you see images of us covered in blood all over the news, then know that you have been told beforehand that this would happen. Know that if this happens, or if one hair is touched on the head of any one of the Ansar of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, you shall fast the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you shall receive the punishment and great humiliation of this world and the next. You will be shamed in front of the world media if you try and shame us with your media, and we will not stop spreading this message. In fact, our brothers and sisters across the globe will continue to contact news sources and channels and stations until we are given our freedom. Don't take millions of dollars, rather billions of dollars in aid from the United States of America and Europe and claim you believe in freedoms of all human beings and then attack American and British citizens for practicing their rights in your country. Don't build your mosques and your centers in our countries unless we can build them in yours. These Salafis and Wahhabis in lying Egyptian media want a story. And I say, yeah, they want a story. And that's why I think we should give them a story. We should give them an international story. And let that story be titled, Foreign Muslims Want Egyptian, Salafi and Wahhabi mosques in their countries shut down. Let the story be, Egypt oppresses and does not allow freedom of religion. Let the story be, Egyptian police and media scare away American tourists while taking billions of dollars in aid from the United States. Let the story be about the Salafi Wahhabi Saudi control of the Egyptian press. Let the story be about how Egyptian media lies so much that they can't even keep their story straight. Freedom of religion is a basic human right for all human beings. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد إلهم والمهديين وسلم تسليما كثيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الأئمة والمهديين وسلم تسليما كثيرا.